I guess so.
I think we're just gonna talk about it then. I mean, not even about that. I think we just talk. I think, I'm going to say we've got 15 minutes.
All right.
To just talk.
Okay. I'm gonna do it then.
We're doing it right now.
Hey there, Bob from Oregon, Wisconsin Gardener.
And we're back.
It's been a while. It's been a while. What's the deal with that?
I had my teeth taken out, so.
You got teeth, though. So you're getting the...
Yep, teeth.
You look good like that.
Don't I look like my grandfather? Although my grandfather had teeth until he died. I'll be the only Ostrander to go all the way with no teeth. Everybody else had good teeth.
Well, get hit with a log.
Yeah, that's part of the game.
So, what are we doing? What's going on?
We were going to do a bunch of viewer questions.
I screwed that up, Christopher.
Well, we have guys at the OCG group now that's crushing these answers. We went through all the questions. All the answers are pretty damn good.
Yeah. No, he did good. Christopher's killing it.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to come up with a new style, I think, where if it's a really good question that we're going to carry, I mean, if you make a comment, you see an asterisk underneath your name, that means we're probably going to cover it on the next show. Don't, be patient. We're going to get back to you. We were kind of discussing this customer out of Oklahoma that I've been just talking with.
With the lights.
Well, with the plants, and they're newer guys.
Uh-huh.
Young couple, maybe young, I don't know. They could be old.
They could be old. They're new to the game. Is that correct, or
They're new to gardening.
Yeah.
Yeah. They garden together. It's pretty sweet.
Now, are they doing this indoor? They're doing it indoor, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like in a tent or?
I'm guessing. I don't know. You saw the pictures of them.
Yeah. Oh, it wasn't. It wasn't a tent.
Tent-ish.
Yeah, it was a tent.
And it was nice because he obviously watches the show because his first few emails are straight up just tons of information.
Uh-huh.
My pH is this. This is what I'm doing.
Nice.
The downfall was that he had very young little plants when he first started emailing me back at the beginning of the month, and really people get really excited about gardening, and when it's brand new to people, I think a lot of them just jump in and they overlove their plants. And you could tell that these
too much time, too much effort. They want to do something.
They want to and they want to buy them the best of the best. They want to treat them the best. And so they bought expensive lighting. They have good ventilation. I mean, all the tools they had were perfect. But they were just too much for this plants.
Because they're just getting started out.
There's little guys, and the little plants don't need a lot of food, and a lot of people just want to jump right out there, like, "Hey, when do I start feeding?" It's like, man, I wait. I mean, I put them in our number 4 soil. I kind of sit there and watch them. After about a week to 2 weeks, then I'm like, ooh, maybe I'll start hitting them with some Gaia, or just easing them into the early veg program. But I never just go, all right, well, they're planted. Early veg starts today. Early veg to me is like 4 or 5 sets of good, healthy leaves.
Really?
They're out of the shock zone. The environment's good. Early veg starts at that point, and then I start pushing them on that date.
And you might start with just the Gaia then?
Well, I run Gaia at the very beginning because it's like vitamin B in a sense where they just keep them happy, keeps them growing, keeps them fed on a really light mode without ever risking burning or overfeeding.
So you get like your 3rd, 4th set of leaves, you start doing a little bit of Gaia.
Yeah.
What, like a teaspoon?
2
a couple
teaspoons? Yeah, a couple. 2 to 3, depending on how healthy the plants look. If the plants are looking great, then I'm probably going to start cranking them up. And really
so you make it really get after it. But the soil, you made the soil to give them a couple weeks.
It's got to sustain the food,
Yeah.
So they started seeing immediately spotting on the leaves. They had some tip burns. Some of the leaves are curling up, but not your normal like nitrogen toxicity or your calcium deficiency. It definitely had a different look, like almost the edges abruptly go up and on, almost like a leather. And
they're pissed. They're hurt.
It didn't seem right.
They don't seem happy.
Yeah. And so all the questions I was asking them, because I do ask more questions than most people want to answer, but came back with great answers. And we basically, after getting rid of the idea that the pH in the soil is off, or the nutrients are too high, the ppms are too high, or what are you feeding them now? Everything they were doing is perfectly right. So then we go into environment, and I start with the nutrients, I start with the soil, because really that's where my wheelhouse is.
Yeah.
That's what we've done. That's where I'm going to take the blame for it. If shit goes wrong, it's our fault because of this. So we kind of went, all right, everything's intact. Now what? Well, just in the recent months, I've had a lot of conversations with some of these bigger farms, and some farms I really, I look up to in a sense where they've really taken it to a new level, and I pay attention to what they're doing because their success will be others' success someday. Well, one of the farmers I just recently was talking to, he just took his double-endeds and went from 1,000 watts and dropped them back down to 600.
Really?
And he just, he was looking at the plants and he's like, everything's fine, but they just don't have that holy crap punch that I'm used to with the Nectar Grow. And these are all brand new lights. So these are first run for him.
It's like if you get new hand soap and your hands break out, it was probably the soap.
Yeah, good chance. And nothing was wrong. Yeah. It just didn't have the
feel
same
quite right. And that's the thing I think with experienced growers is that they can discover things that other people wouldn't, because a lot of times a new grower discovers something. That's something that everyone else in the world has discovered already.
Could be.
They've been through so many things that they know to where to look and what to do. So the light wasn't working. It was too much light.
Well, yeah, we found out they had LED, which LEDs in their own realm have their own issues, not good or bad.
It's different.
They run. They're intense without the heat.
Yes.
And they run hot, but there's intensity that you can't really balance. And if you're in a smaller tent grow and you're putting 1,000 watts of LED lights in there, the temp's fine, environment's fine, everything seems good, but the light intensity for little plants is just too much. A lot more back and forth with these folks, and a lot of pictures back and forth. So we literally have this progression of sad to, okay, they're starting to perk up. And then just yesterday, he sent me a last picture. We reduced his lighting down from 1,000 to 600 watts. We raised it up about 1 foot to 2 feet. And within 3 days, all new sets of leaves, all new growth, everything's perking up, and everything's starting to pray. And they'll only get better from this point on. And so, I think a lot of people need to look, and this is what the other farmer said the other day when he was here, was, after, I think he's grown 18, 20 years of indoor growing, he said, I've never really thought about how important lighting environment is. And the big scheme is, we're all used to metal halides. We're the old schoolers. I mean, when we all started out, we had metal halides that we screwed into bases on the ceiling that we had Mylar as hoods. So when you go from that to these new high-end double-endeds, these LEDs, these really intense light spectrums, it's a different ballgame for us old schoolers. And so to go all the way back and look at our lighting environment, not our temperature, not our humidity, not our, barometric pressure, well, how intense is the lighting and how is that affecting the plant production? Plants get a leaf surface temp that exceeds a certain temperature, and, depending on the genetics, the plants and everything, they can just shut down out of protection to make sure they don't transpire, they don't sweat out all their moisture, and they basically will shut down until the environment gets better for them to go back into mode.
They're going to wait it out.
Well, they want to survive.
They're holding their breath.
Pretty much. If they do it long enough, they'll start to just back off and die.
Yeah.
But, in their case, you could literally see within days. I mean, it was fun because we've been going back and forth a lot of, he watches the show, which, I don't even know, I won't say his name, but you know who you are, Oklahoma guy and family. Him and his wife grow together.
Nice.
But for them to just send me a picture on yesterday saying, it didn't say anything, just a picture of bam versus the last 5 pictures that were bam.
Yeah.
And my response right back was, looks like we found the magic bullet.
That's the problem.
And he was like, man, I was thinking maybe my lights are intense. We did what you said, and his inclination was, man, just looking at them, they just seemed like it was too bright. And so now he's seeing the difference.
The LEDs seem like they're, you look at an LED and it's like blinding, but it's not that much light. It's like it's really specular. I mean, it's.
Well, I mean, look at the headlights when they come on.
Yeah, you can't even see.
Oh my goodness, what an asshole with his stupid lights! And then he goes by and you're like, man, those are really dull.
Yeah.
But man, they really hit like flashlights, and that's it. It's a flashlight, and there's millions of hundreds of flashlights on these units that they're putting out. And it's great for right there.
So, do you suppose even the the leaf might not be hot, but it's still experiencing tons of light?
It's having penetration. Yeah. Because that's the other thing LEDs will have over an old-fashioned high-pressure sodium is that it will go through this leaf, that leaf, and the next leaf and give the energy down to the fourth set of leaves. So, these leaves are just shutting down because there's too much energy. And so just backing that off, and, I'm not a lighting technology.
No.
I'm sure 1,000 people are going to get all up in arms and their panties all tightened up. And it's like, you know what? Go talk to the people that make lighting. I make the fertilizer. All I know is when your lighting messes up my fertilizer, I got to back your lighting off. to make my fertilizer work.
Well, and it's not necessarily the science of knowing exactly what it is, of just having a feeling of like, this doesn't seem quite right, and then you pull it up and it starts working. We may not know the scientific reason, but we know that this was the issue going in.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And, and the nice thing is that for a grower to be able to look at those situations, immediately so many growers, or, the growers that are only growing for a certain reason. Those guys are going to go, first I'm going to blame the newts. Then I'm going to blame the ventilation. Then I'm going to blame my meter. I'm going to blame. And it's like, well, or you could just stop, take 15 more minutes of your day, and just absorb what's happening. Look at your light intensity. Look at your ventilation system. Make sure your timer's actually working. Don't call me and say your shit isn't going to flower and my nutrients don't make them flower. Your timer's broken. You're on a 24-hour light cycle now. That's the problem. So, you have to stop, think about it. And, as Jack Herrera once told me, you listen to that plant. If you listen to the plant, it will tell you what it wants. And it's not going to say, hey, Bob, I need more phosphorus, and probably like 18 parts per million. But you're going to look at that plant and go, something's off. And man, last time I did this, and by my notes, or by this or that. You can learn how the plants are responding to you by just paying attention to your plant. It's
like when you work in a place with a lot of people that speak Spanish. At first he's angry. You get a feeling for what's going on.
But when your head turns red and you're screaming, blah, 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 then, I'm a little...
But then you start to pick up a few words, and then pretty soon, far down the road, you can pick it up through osmosis. It's kind of like that. But even when you don't understand a word of what's going on, you can kind of get a feeling for what might be the issue and try some things to...
Well, and try some things, and, the first thing back to these folks was, first off, keep it simple. I mean, don't overthink, don't overwater, and don't overlove this plant, because all those things will kill your plant.
Yeah.
The number one killer of most plants for new growers is water. I mean, it's not your nutrients, it's your water. You water so much because you want it to be so happy and loved. Well, you know what? When we keep feeding our little kid all the time, we feed out of love, our kid now has diabetes type A because he's 300-pound 9-year-old, because we love him so much, we just feed him.
So I guess with some of these things, like with watering, it's better to err on the too little side, because you can fix that. You can
always add more, but you can never take it away.
Yeah.
I mean, if you are out there and you put gas on your lawn, that's it. Game over.
Yeah.
You can't put the gas back in the can.
Same thing with the lighting. If it's not enough light, you can
add more light.
You can add
dial
more light.
Up your light, but start less and acclimate everything in. That's why. When people are looking at our feeding schedules, or they email me all the time, what's your feeding schedule will you do? Well, you don't want to know my feeding schedule, because it would put me out of business. I mean, it would. But it's not this. This is my reference guide. This is on my wall. This is what I know for, here's... Because my brain's broken.
This is an almanac. This is
it's a roadmap, but I don't know, is there a new pothole here in early flowering? Or is there... So... When I'm teaching that part of it, I tell people, it's like, this early veg cycle is literally half strength. Start at half strength. You don't know if your genetics are going to be happy at this full strength, so just ease into it, nice and half strength.
Yeah.
Heck, even split it up. Do your base on one day and your additives the next day. Just go nice and slow and add less more often, just to get them to start acclimating to the program. And if you acclimate everything in, it's amazing how adaptation works in nature. I mean... Yeah. Adaptation is one of the most amazing. I mean, it's like all the nature shows. You watch how things adapt in nature to each other
quickly.
You're like, holy, but I mean, in the humans and plants, all of us, all of it. So that's where I try to teach people that. Just don't hammer them. Help them adapt to your environment. These aren't plants designed to grow in 4x4 little boxes in the corner of the basement.
Well, better to have something that you did some one shot and some Gaia and it's not that impressive, than to have something that's dead. Because you overdid it.
Well, then you'll be mad and then discouraged. And I mean, I can't tell you how many people tell me they have brown thumbs, and I'm like, I doubt it. No. I don't believe in the brown. Well, I know a few people that just shouldn't grow, but they're overthinkers. And if you overthink it, you're only going to have problems.
Well, I think you can think without doing. Because you just think about what could be going on here, but don't do anything yet to try.
If you have 4 to 6 plants and you want to think, then torture one. So then you go, oh, well, that was a bad idea. I probably should do that to the other 5 and throw that one away and start on the next 4.
Sorry, Vern.
Yep.
Tough break.
I was thinking, and that was a bad thought. So instead of killing them all and then calling me and saying, hey, you know, Mega Morpheus killed everything. Okay, well, that's hard to believe.
Even some of the worst, cheapest stuff you could go out there and find, someone has had success with that.
Oh, no question. Well, there's, and that's the other thing. I mean, there's some folks who I really feel bad for because they're struggling with their water situation. They're struggling with something environmental. I mean,
that's hard to fix.
Yeah, things that are like, I am very rarely will I advocate for a salt line nutrient or salt-based nutrient line, just the synthetic world, period. But there are situations where that's the only way you're going to be able to make
it work in this environment, with this water, with this light.
Yeah, and I want to support you on that because you do want to grow the plant. You are trying to make your medicine, so let's at least do it the cleanest way. But my nutrients aren't going to work in your situation. But if you are in our wheelhouse, we are going to be something that's going to work well together, then I'm going to teach you everything you can to help get you back on track with the environment that you're gifted with. But some of these guys, I mean, I feel bad. I got a guy right now with... out of his well, his water is 5.8 pH with like 900 parts per million. I'm like, that's a tough road. I mean, because there's a lot of things we need to do just to correct your water.
Just to get to where we can water the plant.
Yeah. Or the opposite, where it's an 8.0 with like 500 parts per million, where it's like, okay, we just have to treat the water first. Yeah. And a lot of these people aren't in the budget for an RO unit or... watering, and I'm not a big fan of distilled water every time you water because I think it strips the ions out. So, that's a tough one. That's where it's like, cutting edge makes a really good hard water feed for guys with really messed up water, or by Microbe Life's, water treatment,
the dechlorinator.
Which has all sorts of other microbes that will help balance out some of the water situation. And
well, when I started the tent grow, I had that LEC 630. It's a giant fucking light, and it was free to me because we got it, but it was a $1,200 light. If someone had bought that $1,200 light, and they're in this thing, and it's making it 100 degrees in there, you're pooched. You would have been better off with one of those little strip lights on a prop tray to get going.
Almost. Well, at the end result would have been better.
Yeah, you would actually...
Not dead.
Not dead, yeah.
Probably no harvest, but...
So, but better to start slowly and work your way up than
get in. I mean, the olden days we started literally with the cheapest of the cheap, and we had to send a guy to go get it. Yeah. Nowadays we have so much technology. I mean, this industry has advanced at such an alarming rate, and people that are jumping in now want to jump right into Ferraris and Lamborghinis, and nobody wants to get in the old Volkswagen that you can still take duct tape and gum and fix the carburetor. And it's like, man, the days of duct tape and gum carburetors are the best because no matter what happens, wherever you break down, I can fix a metal halide ballast in 5 minutes on the fly. Yeah,
you're going to be okay. And you're also going to learn a lot.
And that's the other hard part is you can go to any grow shop in the country right now and get a cap and coil metal halide or high pressure sodium for like $100 complete.
So cheap to do it that way. Because it's just so...
And we've been doing it that way since, I don't know, when we were stealing street lights off the street poles because they were high-pressure sodiums. Those are low-pressure sodiums even. And we were trying to grow plants underneath those. That was like 30 years ago.
And calling it the good old days.
Yeah, well... We didn't have to wear seatbelts back then, or helmets.
Might go to prison, but...
Yeah, well, I mean, theft is theft. That's part of the game. But, I don't know, my advice on all of it is just enjoy what you do. Take it slow. This is not because you're a pro. We had to change it from pro to Roman because of the term gluttonous Romans use it all. This does not make you a professional. The professional growers I deal with, they don't use all of this. They use a lot of it, but not all at the same time. They all manipulate it to their style, what they're growing. We've got ways of helping you get to more oil, more terpenes, more flavor, more yield. Which one of these do you want to give up to get one of these? Or which one of these do you want to enhance to get rid of one of these? And we're not going to get you all of it in one shot. we're going to get you something that you really wanted. So if you're growing CBD hemp, we can do that, but we're going to have to, it depends on what you want to do with your hemp. Are you doing lubrication for GM? We're going to grow it this way. Are you doing it for fiber for, feeding cattle and making clothes? Here's the way we're going to do it. If you're doing oil for medicine and terpenes, then we're going to do it this way. So there's so many more questions than I had 3 today from Oklahoma. Oklahoma. Man, better hope there's not a pollen outbreak there. It's going to be a bad damn summer. So many farms popping up there. But in Oklahoma, there's so many guys taking off right now, and it's all industrial hemp. And to me, it's, what's your end game? What's your feeding schedule for industrial hemp? That's a loaded question.
Yeah, are you making jeans or a rope, or are you making
selling
oil?
to China, or is this going into a vape cartridge for a guy with stage 3 cancer? So it really comes down to what you're doing with your plants, and then we can kind of tailor recipes accordingly, and we do. I mean, we're a very reachable company. I think most people can attest to that. I mean, I may ghost a few of you because you're boring and you've outworn your welcome.
You will get quite a few replies.
Oh, you'll get at least 30 before I'm just like block you.
Can't do it.
Sometimes if you can't reread the last 3 emails and you ask me that same question again, I'm going to say GH is still owned by Hawthorne and you should buy them up. They're a great product, 3 parts, super simple. You have 3 questions. Which one's grow, bloom, and micro? That's it. Just stick with that. Nice. Life is easy on a 3-part.
Do that. The thing I thought of when you were talking, I didn't want to interrupt you, but it seems like...
Is that why you're doing this?
No, that's my... Yeah. It seems like the people I've met that are really good are serious about their business, but they're not too serious about... I don't know how to explain that. They're pretty laid back, like Pig and those heroes. They seem like, they've got kind of a lighthearted take on it. They don't take anything for granted. They're serious about... being, on their game. But
as Pat says, fake it till you make it or you break it, So that's the end game there, is that this industry's filled. And when I say that, when you go through Instagram and Facebook and, there's a lot of successful farms and a lot of farms that are making it. But I think if you actually got on site with a lot of these guys and had one-on-ones with them, most of them will tell you the same thing is, if you don't present yourself as 100% successful, nobody's going to buy into your success. If you show that you're failing, then you're going to fail. And that's the end game, is that we're all faking it and making it. I mean, we're not.
From the outside,
our shit doesn't stink.
Well, I guess you can be serious about, you're serious about your business, but you're also not too serious about yourself. Well, you got to figure things out.
Somewhat. I think that's just certain people. Because I know a lot of business owners that take stuff so personal and so serious that they don't get to enjoy anything in life or themselves. I mean, the first thing I did when I got all my teeth out was make a video about Baby Shark, because it just came down to, it's like, if you can't laugh at yourself. I mean, I'm not going home and pity partying myself. I mean, I go home and I'm mad because I haven't eaten food in 3 weeks, but at the end of the day, it's not,
it happens.
What's it going to do? All I'm going to do is create an environment around me that nobody wants to be near or talk to, or, I can't lose all my awesome employees and staff because I'm bitter about having no teeth. So you make a fucking video about being a dumbass and singing like an idiot, scaring little children across the country. You'll never listen to that song again because I ruined every adult with an earworm that day, and every child.
They're probably singing that song.
I sent one to one of the HRG reps, and they're like, "Thanks, that shit won't leave my head." For 2 days, they had to listen to that. So I'm a little jerk about that.
Well, there you go.
Wow. There's a guy. He's been struggling, man. We've been since like last fall.
Yeah.
This is Clearhead Fred.
Yeah.
Online, which he just started. People actually started emailing me, "Is everything okay with Clearhead?" Because he just disappeared. But he was running into this issue where
he was in a hole. He was fighting the Battle of Thermopylae in his tent.
Oh, it was sad, and it just came down to it was a root fungus that it was coming in. I think what happened ultimately, he buys pallets of soil from us, and then but he doesn't need pallets of soil. I mean, he grows 6 plants max. Dog treats.
Nice.
Yeah. he also sends us antlers for the dogs because he's in Michigan, so he can go out and snipe as many deer as he can.
Oh, they're a menace there.
Oh, it's like northern Eugene or South Eugene and rats. Yeah, northern Michigan's deer. Literally that many. They're like piled up. Like you turn on the light and a million deer just go and they run off. So you can't grow corn, you can't grow food. But he's been fighting, so he got that pallet. He stuck it in his barn. The only thing we can think of is something native in the soil in northern Michigan made it into the soil and started, because we're not seeing this anywhere. Anywhere. I mean, if we have a situation like what we were seeing with him, it'd be so widespread. It'd be
everywhere, yeah, because it was so...
No, it was so limited. And then even when he was going to a different manufacturer's potting soil, because we're like, try everything at this point, he was ready to quit. He needs this for life. I mean, that's the whole main thing. Is, now we got one grower there, Weewoo, who's now helping him just get through this hump because he's literally lost 3 crops from this shit.
Jeez. And it was because he had a ton of soil in it. It somehow
something got contaminated with some kind of bacterial, fungal. I mean, we haven't really taken to the full lab yet because it's expensive to get to that type of lab. But we sent him 4 new bags just to transplant in. Never touched anything other than our floor, your floor, and that's the difference right there.
Wow, I mean, just like that. You never know. Someone was Mariah was telling me about someone. They weren't they're bamboo stakes. They were commingling their stakes between their 2 grows, and they were infecting.
Oh yeah, I'm bringing my microdot mites over to this farm.
Yeah,
they're done. Let's bring them over to this one.
And they were doing. They were taking their shoes off. They were doing everything
except for the hollow organic home.
Yes.
Well, and that's it. That's the problem. That's why I say stop.
Yeah.
Sit back for 15 minutes and just observe. Because if you don't get to observe every once in a while, you're not hearing, you're not listening. My biggest nemesis in the world, or pet peeve, is having conversations with people and knowing that while I'm talking to them, they're thinking about what they're going to fucking say to me.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're not listening, because when we're done with this part of it, you're not going to even answer anything I just said.
This is part to get to the next part.
Oh, and you're just going to tell me about the color of your damn Corvette. Don't care. That has nothing to do with, flushing with Herculean harvest.
If you read those Sherlock Holmes books, this is a 3-pipe problem. He'd sit down there and he'd smoke his pipe 3 times through.
We need to come up with a new stoner version of
3-pipe problem.
Yeah, well, this is a 6-bone hit problem.
But he'd go do all that stuff, and he's so smart and everything, but he'd also just sit there and just think about it for a while.
We don't take time anymore. We're instantly, let's see what the moron groups
let's see
of
whose
all
fault
the
it
Facebook.
was.
Well, and let's go to a forum. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to go get the opinion of 1,000 growers who don't use the same thing I do.
And aren't here.
And have no idea, and aren't going to ask me questions, and they're all going to say, use CalMag. And that's not the answer. You have to be able to sit back and look at what you've done. I mean, does something happen in your grow, in your house, to your plants, in your room? You did it. Flat out. Nothing came in. It's like I won't even touch on that subject. But they just don't. No. It's like my bottle of Herculean isn't going in there and just watering itself while you're not home.
It may not per se be your fault, but it is your problem. You need to figure it out.
And you did something that you were paying attention, and it's now changed. And by the time you see most of the issues in plants, it happened weeks ago, and it's presenting itself now.
That's a lot of it, too, I think. You're thinking, what did I do yesterday? No, what did you do 3 weeks ago?
Exactly. When did I transplant? Yeah. Oh, that's what I'm seeing is the end result of a bad transplant, or this. So there's so many things to look into when you're growing. Mm-hmm. And as I keep telling a lot of these newer growers is, enjoy what you do, take your time, don't rush, and think.
Yeah.
Keep it really simple. Don't overthink this. These are weeds we brought inside to grow. And they grow really well by themselves. I mean, it's really, really well. Plant 20 on the riverbed in spring and come back in the fall.
You'll be trying to beat them back.
Yeah, they're literally like blackberry vines. So you can't stop them once they go. We over-love these plants. And it shows when you see tortured plants. I'm like, oh, well, I see you feed that every day, regardless of whether or not it needs watering.
I
see the water oozing out of the sides. When was the last time you watered? Well, 3 times a day.
Crowding.
How's your child? Does he have ADD? Yeah, a little bit. Okay. Yeah, a little fat. 6 rolls. He wears your pants. Yeah. You're 40. He's 10. Yeah, that's a problem.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
So you're doing this weekend, Bob?
I don't know. Nothing? Hanging around the house? I don't know.
Really?
Really, I don't do that much. I think I'd like to do some car stuff. I got all these cars. I have 6 cars. Not good cars, don't get me wrong. I don't have good cars.
We don't pay Bob well at all. He's got like 3 trucks on blocks and he lives in the neighborhood where that's not acceptable.
I'd like to mess with that maybe a little bit, but I don't know what I'd do. Maybe I'll
just kick him.
Yeah.
Or rock at him.
That movie, there's a big blow up in the house, and the daddy goes out and he's got his car on blocks, just sits in the car. He's smoking a cigarette.
I don't know which movie that was.
The Rainmaker. There's all stuff going on, with the sun. Anyway, he just goes out and sits in this car on blocks.
If I could, I would drive this thing.
I would drive this through a mall.
What time is it?
I don't know.
Oh, 3:20. I need to call my tractor store.
You shouldn't have tractors, I don't think.
No, I'm over it now. I'm all cured. I got rid of my PTSD.
You should get one of those skidders, like for logging, where it's got the whole
$90,000.
You'd be
A used one.
Oh,
I know. I went down to buy it. I went down to the logging convention, and there was one for. Well, the brand new Caterpillar was 96 without the attachments, and I'm like, how much for like a used one for like 5-10 years? And like, like 70, 65 to 70. I'm like, so tractors are good. I would love to have one.
Some with a cage on it.
I can weld front bars, and that's what I'll do when I start working in the woods again. Right now, all I'm doing is going one direction with my bucket up and my claw open. So if I run into anything, I just shut the claw on it so it can't go anywhere. And then I'm pulling wood with a winch. So.
I gotcha.
But right now, it's got some Kubota. Shame on you. 50 hours on a tractor and already got an error code in the computer system.
Not good.
Yeah, and my local tractor company is kind of...
Oh, sketchy?
I'm pretty sure none grow, so... Shame on you for not knowing what you're doing with tractors. Eugene Tractor Company that sells orange tractors. You locals will know who I'm talking about.
Those tractor guys.
Well, Ryan and I, my partner over at OCG, we were chatting about any tractor farm store locally here. Uh-huh. Like when people go, where would you buy a tractor? My advice to everyone now is, if they sell a sport utility vehicle like a Razor or Polaris or
those 3-wheel motorcycles,
ATVs, ATCs, don't buy it from there because they're no longer a farm store. The parent has now retired and the kid has now turned it into a sports store with tractors. Before it used to be a tractor store with a utility vehicle like a Gator. Yeah. John Deere Gators, remember those?
Oh yeah.
8 wheels and shit.
They were serious, creeping around up things. Not
now it's just sports shit with some really nice tractors that nobody knows how to work on. So I tell people, if you want a good tractor, or go to a place that's going to buy it.
Tangent.
I was going to say Albany, Corvallis, Roseburg, not Eugene.
Somewhere where you see rows and rows of things growing.
Yeah, and not grass. Because that's what we grow here is grass and now hemp.
That's because we killed our soil.
Well, hemp could actually bring it back. And that's the one saving grace is hemp.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not going to be worth, $20 a ton in 2 years here, but at least it'll protect and save all of our soils. And that's what we need to do, stop foresting and grow hemp. I mean, that's great. I've been trying to go to all these hemp rallies for 22 years, and it was never about hemp. It's about weed. And I'm like, weed's just going to devalue if you legalize that, but what about hemp? I thought this was Hemp Fest, not marijuana under the guise of Hemp Fest.
That was the problem they had. If they'd actually wanted hemp, they probably would have got it.
Oh, no, too many lobbyists against that. I mean,
big
lobbies, oil, timber, banking, they all hate hemp. But hemp is the answer. It really is. On so many levels, hemp is the answer. The downfall is that it's going to be big ag hemp. And, I mean, it's great. Our trees will survive. We'll get oxygen. So much oxygen off of hemp. It's a wonderful cleaning product. But big ag, I mean, these guys in Tennessee, these guys in Oklahoma, they have 1,000 acres to grow for hemp. Wow. They're going to grow it like corn and cotton. And I mean, it's going to be a big ag product. And it's great. We need it. But it's
not going to be us doing it.
No. That's why we really cater to the guys who are running just top shelf, high oil, high medicinal products because they're trying to focus on, the connoisseur grade or more importantly, it's the microbrew model. And we're not trying to do 20,000 gallon vats of one type. Micro tiers.
Yeah.
And that's it. Is we know all the local guys in our state that are killing it. Killing it for being the top shelf guys that are producing on a level where they're really just trying to compete with the monsters. And you know what? I'd shout out to all of you, but I'd leave a couple out by accident. I don't want to hurt feelings because we've been with these guys for 15 years, and I'll tell you, you guys are my heroes in a big sense. I mean, a lot of the guys are really doing the right thing. So good luck.
So there.
That's it, man.
That's
This
the show.
Friday, we're just going to cut it.
All right.
Cut this show and call it a weekend.
For more information about anything on today's show, go to our website, OCGFAM.com. And if you buy anything while you're there, use the code GROWFAM20. It's going to save you 20%, and it's a lot of fun. The OCG Fam Show, it's pretty good. It happens every day. It's the OCG Fam Show.